Yeah, the bottom line is it's just totally casual. So talk about whatever the hell you feel like, and we'll just see where we end up.
Fuck yeah, Casual Tuesday. Love it.
Casual Tuesday. 3, 2, 1. Well, now I can finally say welcome back to the Vanflip podcast because it seems like it's been a while. Actually, it's kind of been like 2 months. I would assume that since we've kind of uploaded an episode, and we should probably clarify why that has been. We kind of ran into some old iMac desktop issues. My Mac, unfortunately, is like 10 years old and decided during this latest update it was no longer going to export audio or video, so that kind of put a hindrance on the episodes and production of the podcast and stuff like that. So Alex and I kind of joined forces and kind of got a dedicated computer that's strictly just for the podcast. So that is a benefit and a bonus that we can, definitely cherish for years to come. The other big piece of information would be we are now a part of the Sound Talent Media podcast network. This will be the first podcast really we release on there. So we see big things with them, and obviously that is something that will keep us being pushed to be more consistent. So, things like this drought doesn't happen again, even though I feel like we've said that before. Anyway, not back to, but on to the actual important shit going on here. We are lucky enough to finally link up with Ben here. Ben Koller of Koller.
Yeah.
Ben has been a part of the music scene since, as long as I can possibly remember. You were the drummer of Converge, but you've also moonlighted in a handful of other bands, United Nations, Cave In, Mutoid Man is another one of your projects. And currently you have Killer Be Killed is coming out with an album later this week.
All Pigs Must Die.
All Pigs Must Die, yeah.
Right.
And I'm sure you do endless studio work as well that you're not really credited for on Wikipedia or anything like that.
He was on the new Taylor Swift album, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I just made that up.
Yep. Taylor Swift, Miley Cyrus. Yep, all the stars. Ed Sheeran. I played on that song. We ripped off Marvin Gaye and got sued for like $20 million. Yeah.
I knew that. As soon as I heard it, I was like, this is Ben.
Yeah, that's my feel. You know my feel very well.
That's the Dark Horse Phil.
Good to be here, guys. I love Lambgoat. I've always been a Lambgoat fan since, I don't even remember when, like 20 years or something like that?
Yeah. Not long after, well, actually, probably shortly after you joined Converge. Was that 99?
Yeah, or maybe.
Crazy? 98, 99?
Yeah, is that when you started around there?
Yeah, like late 99. But it wasn't like, I'm just going to launch this music website and that'll be it. It was more like I was starting a career in web development and computers and just needed some sort of living, breathing hobby project. And I launched a music site, and slowly and then rapidly it at least grew in the hardcore scene because there was nothing else at that time. Certainly nothing that was updated daily. It's hard for the youth to remember what the internet was like in the late 90s, but it was like you'd go to a page once a week and hope there'd be an update.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was all the AOL stuff. There was like the AOL hardcore chat room and punk chat room. And then you had your buddy list. And then I remember there was a Death Wish message board that I kind of liked called Death Talk. That was they were an early message board. But yeah, there wasn't really a lot. Yeah,
Kill message board.
Bridge 9 had one that was big.
I heard about the Bridge 9 board. I was never a participant, but I mostly just liked lurking, not really commenting and participating, more just like reading all the crazy comments that people make.
It definitely got crazy.
A wise move.
Yeah,
it's a real waste of time. In any case, where the hell did we start?
I mean, should we just...
So anyway, I appreciate that. And as I said to you before I joined the call, or before we started recording, I do apologize. I know there's like a lot of shitty people that have gone to the site over the years, and some of it's in jest, but I know, everybody's human, so you read certain things and it sucks. And so I was reading over the comments for your broken elbow thing today. I was just like, man, some of these are harsh.
Can't catch a break.
I had the pleasure, but I consider it a rite of passage to be skewered on Lambgoat. So maybe I'll have to go back and read some of it. But yeah, I don't tell myself that it's like it's 15 and 16-year-old kids. That's what I tell myself. And like I was a complete moron when I was 16. So
that's true.
Chat away, and when you're anonymous, it just comes out of you for some reason.
Yes.
Well, it's a difficult thing for me because some people get pissed, and it's like, Jake would always tell me, Bannon, he'd just be like, "Yeah, I like the site, I like what you guys do, but I can hate the people who post on your site. You gotta shut that, comments down, this or that." So it's kind of like, on one hand he liked Lambgoat, but the other hand he hated Lambgoat. And I think that's kind of common, or was, until I killed the news comments, at least. But I've had certain people be like, don't post about our band because I don't want to read. Like, I can't resist reading comments, but I don't want to read them. So just do me a favor and don't post about us. And it's like, sorry.
But it's consistent. I mean, there's never comments that don't have at least one, like, "I hope you die" comment. So it kind of levels the playing field. It's just what happens.
Well,
that's true.
And a lot of people can
you're somebody when you really get, shit on.
Yeah.
Dozens of comments.
Any press is good press, right?
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying good comments, but in the end, we'll just say like, "I hope you die," or like where we got the title of the podcast, Vanflip, or something like that. So,
that's true.
You got to take the good with the bad.
Speaking of Vanflips, well, not Vanflips, but shows. When was the last time Converge played a show?
Oh, fuck yeah! It's been over a year. It's been over a year since I played live. We did like 2 punk shows with our friends in Drop Dead. This was I think August or September of last year. So yeah, it's been over a year since I played live, and then right after we played those shows, my 3rd child was being born, so I decided I was going to take some paternity leave. So I just decided after that, like, I'm going to take the rest of the year off, and then beginning of next year, get shit rolling again, and do a whole bunch of tours and get the machine going. And unfortunately, like literally 2 days before I was leaving for South America to go on tour with Converge, that's when the pandemic hit. It was 2 days away, and then they canceled. Then they canceled everything. Yeah, so it's been rough. It was like a hiatus on top of a break on top of another break. Because I literally break because I broke my elbow, and then I couldn't play after that, and then got back into it, and then took paternity leave, and then the pandemic. So yeah, I'm jonesing for a show, man. I'm jonesing hard.
Who do you have to talk to in the band world, HR wise, to get maternity leave in a band?
That's the beauty of being your own boss. I report to no one but.
Yeah, well, congrats on. Well, it's not new, but 3 kids. Yeah, I got more than that, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
How many do you?
I'm not sure. I think 5.
That's too many.
Let me check my roster. Actually, one of my kids' names is Ben. I didn't name him after you, but for the purposes of this podcast, I'll pretend I named him after you. So thank you. You've been an inspiration.
What an honor.
As you can tell, he's a huge Converge fan. He's from that area, New England area. He's got that Jane Doe poster again in the background. So, he's steady repping.
Yeah, my 3rd child, my daughter, Jane Doe, Arnold. Again, I had nothing to do with Converge, but yeah. Jake, keep it down. Sorry, he and Nate are playing. I can't stop these guys. Anyway,
it's been a crazy year, that's for sure.
Yeah, this year sucks. Everybody knows it, but it must really suck for professional musicians like yourself. So definitely feel for you there. What do you? I'm not even sure. I was thinking about this. So you've got roughly 4 bands you're a part of. Some more active than others. Obviously, you've got the Killer Be Killed thing going on right now. Do you have like another gig when you're not doing the music thing, like Ben Koller's Bagelry or something?
No, but a lot of the bands have been doing little stuff here and there. Like with 2 Minutes to Late Night, we've been doing a lot of the quarantine covers. That's been really fun and helpful just to keep some kind of creative fire alive. And actually, I've been playing a lot of poker online and a little bit live and making a little extra money from that. But
You're actually winning.
Yeah, actually winning. I'm like a slightly better than break-even player, so it's good. But mostly, just trying to focus on some band stuff for a little bit of inspiration, and Converge has a lot of new stuff brewing. Mutoid Man's got a bunch of new songs ready to go. The Killer Be Killed record is what I'm most excited about now because that comes out Friday, and just the excitement and the hype around it has been unlike any album I've ever been involved in, and it's probably the most exciting record I've ever been involved in.
Really,
and so that's at least one really nice thing to look forward to now through all of this. Try to focus on the good.
Sure. Well, why do you say it's the most exciting?
Because it's a band with some of my heroes and good friends of mine, and I didn't know what would happen with this band when I filled in for some shows about 5 years ago, and didn't know if anything was going to come of this, and turns out we get along really well personally and musically, and decided that we really wanted to do an album eventually when we could. And just over the years, we've been getting together just when we all have gaps in our calendars. We'll all fly out to, LA or fly out to Phoenix or wherever and jam and write songs. And it finally culminated and finally came together, and the record's finally done like 5 years later.
Yeah.
So I'm really stoked. I'm so happy on how it came out.
Yeah, I'll bet. That must be pretty wild to, because when I was young, I was a huge Sepultura fan. And like, how intimidating was that first gig? I know you said you were filling in, but to play like for Max, that must have been kind of a mind fuck.
Oh, I mean, before I actually got to the first rehearsal, I was really nervous. I was really over prepared, but I didn't realize that at the time, because I just thought like I was gonna fucking blow it, and I suck. Typical self-hating drummer stuff. But then when I finally got to rehearsals and started hanging out, it was so chill. Everyone was just so like nice and respectful of each other, and Max is actually one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my entire life. So that helped a lot. And it turns out I was probably the most prepared out of everyone. Everyone's like, how's this fucking song go? And I'm like it's like this. And so immediately the nerves were squashed. But yeah, it was definitely intimidating, because I'm also such a Mastodon fan and such a Dillinger fan.
Well, that's true. I don't mean to diminish them, but Sepultura, for any person who's probably 35 or older, a metal fan, that's on in a different it's on a different level than as much as I love Mastodon and DP. But
I totally agree. Like,
how do you even go into that? As far as stylistically, is it like I'm gonna try and do a Sepultura thing, or am I just gonna do balls out Converge style?
Well, it's totally different than I would say. Like, Killer Be Killed is kind of your most, I don't want to say mainstream sounding, because it doesn't sound mainstream at all, but out of the wild bands that you've been a part of, this is kind of like your biggest rock styled band. And I hate saying rock style because there's definitely a good bit of like hardcore and metal influences thrown within the whole mix of the new stuff, at least. And I guess we could only really talk about the new stuff because you're a part of the new stuff in the last 5 years. So this album is basically the first release since you joined the band, correct?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And yeah,
right, so when you came in, you were just, you were playing what had already been done. So I guess that alleviates some of the pressure, and that's probably why you said you were over prepared. You probably knew those songs, forward and back.
Yeah, and I was still super nervous. But yeah, the first tour was just learning the first album songs. We didn't have anything new, and once we started jamming after all that was over, that's when we really started to sort of get a feel for each other, and that's when we knew that the musical chemistry was totally there. And there were elements of Mastodon, Converge, other bands, whatever, but it was definitely apparent right away that this was its own thing. And it does have rock moments for sure, but it's all the rock that we're into. Like a lot of 90s kind of influence in some of these songs. Like we were listening to a lot of Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, it's got that alternative kind of vibe to it. I hate saying rock, but that's like a general blanket to throw on it, I guess. Horrible as it is.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly more rock than band like Converge. Although Converge has rock moments here and there too. But yeah, there's a lot less like play as much as I can, as fast as I can in this 3 minutes of music. Not as much like overplaying and like mathematical computations.
So do you? So this album, what would you say your input was writing wise, or does Max or the other guys come in and say play this, or is it just up to you? Obviously, every band works differently.
No, completely the opposite. With this band, we really did. 99% of the songwriting was all four of us in a room together. And that's just how it worked best for us. Every band has their own different little process. Some bands have main songwriter, they send the riffs, they send an assembled song, everyone learns it, whatever. But with KBK, it was very much about all four of us being in the room together and arranging everything together, equal input. So it was really cool and organic in that way.
Nice. Well, how with Converge, how does the process differ? Is Kurt, bringing in everything?
No, I mean, actually, every song is different. Like the last record, "The Dusk in Us," for example, every song came together differently. Sometimes Kurt would have a couple riffs. Other days, Nate would have an idea or a riff, like an overall vibe. Other days, Jake would bring in riffs. I would bring in drum riffs and write songs around that. So every song's kind of different. We don't really have like one specific process where it's like, okay, here's my arrangement, here are my riffs. It's very much an equal share of all of our input as well.
I've always kind of I guess appreciated that awkward place for a drummer because as you've stated, a bassist can come in with a melody or a riff, as can a guitarist, but a drummer, it's, you can obviously create a memorable drum beat, but for the most part, it's not a riff. So some drummers play guitar. I guess Charlie from Anthrax writes a lot of their stuff and is quite an adept guitar player. Do you play guitar? Do you play other instruments?
I do play a little guitar. Yeah, I've written a couple riffs here and there for like Mutoid Man in the past, but no, I'm mostly dealing the drum riffs, lead drums, the arrangement aspects, stuff like that, and occasionally, don't do the blah, 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 do like da, 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 do the eighth notes instead of 16th notes, and slow this down. Oh, this sounds a little too dark. Can it be happier, or vice versa, or just make this 20 BPMs faster, that kind of arrangement type nonsense.
The last thing you kind of need in that band is another guitar player anyway. I think Greg is also pulling a little guitar work and front manning, if I'm not mistaken. But is he going to be playing a lot more on like live on this whenever we get around to that? Does he offer a lot more up guitar wise on this album than previously, or would you know that?
Yeah, from what I understand, the first KBK record was mostly or all Max on guitar, and on this record, Greg brought so much to the table guitar-wise. I remember the first time I jammed with him, it was just him and I, and I'd never really played with him, just him on guitar, and his writing and his ear. I was really impressed by his guitar playing, and he did play a lot on this record. He was playing leads. He's playing rhythm. Yeah, his guitar is all over this record. So I was really impressed by that. So we might have to get maybe a third guitarist for live shows, so he can throw the guitar and go
do his thing.
Go like yell at people in the crowd. Max as well. I mean, Max gets so excited he just likes to put his guitar down and just scream. So we might need a third guitarist to pick up the slack.
Well, you traveled. You toured with one.
I think you froze. You frozen?
Oh. We're not frozen on our end.
Are you gone? Are you
Can
back?
you hear me?
We're here. Hello.
Okay, I hear you now. Yeah, you guys went. Did I go away for a bit?
Nope.
Maybe you did. I didn't notice a change. But who knows? 3 people, it can get a little dicey.
Yeah. But yeah. So, did you get to preview any of Greg's solo stuff while you were jamming the last year?
Yeah, a little bit. And actually,
you played on some of it, right?
I did. I played on one song, and actually, that was originally going to be a KBK song, and we thought we had a cohesive record without it, and so Greg was able to take the drums and put that song on a solo record, the song Roach Hiss, off of that album.
His album's pretty good. That album's really good, actually, but it's something I didn't expect that style of record, to be honest with you, but it's really, really fucking good.
Yeah,
Chris Hornbrook played on a bunch of tracks. We've actually had him on this podcast before, but what are your thoughts on Chris? I guess you got, Poison the Well and Converge were sort of dancing in the same circles for years there. You know him quite well, or he's just another?
No, I mean, I've run into him here and there, on the road, but I remember liking a couple Poison the Well tunes back in the day, but it's funny, like back then when everyone in Converge was in their early 20s, we were so competitive with other bands, and like when younger bands came along, we totally had this like, oh, we'll fucking whatever, like we were like really competitive, it's like just young and angry, and we just wanted to like blow everyone off the stage if we could. We were so competitive, which seems really silly in retrospect, but
I feel like
that's
that was most of the scene. That was like most of the scene, I feel like. Most in the younger days, I guess it felt like that to me as well.
Plus, you're in Converge, so you guys, sort of. Converge was always one of those bands that was just, I don't want to say untouchable, but again, compared to a lot of the bands of the scene, it was just, there were these bands and there was Converge, that you guys had a reputation, and you were kind of the flag bearers, the trendsetters, whatever you want to call it. So I could definitely see how you guys would sort of have this attitude, at least back then, that would be like, hey, we're top of the underground metalcore heap, so you got to earn our respect.
No, I mean, even with bands that should have been our peers, like even with the Dillinger Escape Plan, I remember playing multiple festivals, and it was like they would play and then we would play, or vice versa. And I remember that there was just sort of this unspoken like competition, like, oh, we gotta be real good. We gotta fucking beat them. We gotta win. And which was unfortunate because, before I joined Converge, I remember when Calculating Infinity came out. It's still one of my favorite records, in that style. And I was like, but I love Dillinger. Why do we have to fight them?
Well, Chris Penny, whatever happened to Chris Penny?
I don't know. He's been in a couple.
He was an awesome drummer.
Yeah, I don't really know him very well either. We've run into each other here and there, but yeah, I haven't seen him in years. But yeah,
after he left Coheed.
Yeah, Coheed, and
I haven't heard anything.
I actually looked him up not long ago. I think I'm doing it again because I think I was kind of like surprised by what he's been doing. But continue until I find it.
He's off Googling.
Oh no. I was just gonna say that the drum shit on Calculating Infinity, I still go back to that. I'm like, what is happening? It's like it's so creative. It was so new and creative, and it was so loose, like in a good way. Like they left all the mistakes in there and the weird time changes, and it was just so fucking energetic and so fun and memorable and really challenging to try to figure out. I mean, I still can't figure out a lot of that shit,
Yeah, no doubt. That you started playing drums. I think I read. I don't know how often you review your Wikipedia. Maybe you go in there and edit it for accuracy. But it said, you started said you started playing drums. I think at 14.
Yeah,
is that accurate?
I have no idea who edits that. Maybe it's like my mom or something. Like I have no idea. But it's weird.
Loves his mother. In there.
When something new comes out, it's like, yeah. But no, I started playing it was like 8th grade. I think it's like 13.
So at that point, what were some of your drumming inspirations?
Oh, I mean, all kinds of shit. I was way into Metallica and Pantera and that whole kind of metal world. Sepultura, obviously, Megadeth, all those bands. So it was that, and then when I discovered, punk rock and hardcore, then I was all in for that kind of stuff, and it was all about, all the like fat record pop punk bands and like the like street punk bands, like the Unseen and Showcase Showdown and that kind of like gutter punk kind of shit. And then I discovered like Integrity and like really heavy hardcore bands, and I was all about that. So I was like full on only punk and hardcore for like a little playing, and also local bands where I grew up on Cape Cod as well. Good bands, horrible bands. I loved all of it, and so a lot of it came from just going to like local shows and watching drummers from all the bands like in the local scene.
Now, as you've gotten older and obviously matured in plenty of ways, I mean, from a drumming perspective, do you then at some point go back and say, all right, I've got to pay homage to some of Neil Peart and Tim Alexander and you going bigger with John Bonham and just sort of revisiting what are considered to be some of the most iconic drummers? Or is that something that's just doesn't interest you?
Yeah, do you want to copy that snare sound from Lars?
I wasn't talking about Lars as an iconic drummer, but
if you're talking about the Black Album snare, then yes, because I was able on this KBK record, I was able to borrow the same model snare that Lars used on the Black Album, and
wow.
I was so pumped to get my hands on that, and it sounds fucking great. But not the Stanger snare, no way.
Speaking of what, to follow up with that Chris Pinney thing, he actually is on Greg's album, 2 songs. So that's the latest thing he's done.
I probably wrote about that and I've since forgotten.
Create a God and Fire for Water.
Okay. Well, that's still not. I'd like to know what he's doing professionally, drummer wise.
I think he's a studio guy. It seems like his discography leading up to this year is mostly like studio work or something like that. But he's not in a group. He does, you know what I mean? It still says Coheed,
gotcha.
But he's not in Coheed.
Hey, whatever pays the bills.
I'm not really sure.
Do you do any session work? Not so much, hey, guest on my hardcore track, but more like I need a professional drummer.
Not so much. Like I'll do things here and there. Like I played on the Armed Only Love. That was kind of like a drummer for hire kind of gig. But not usually. I'm usually so busy with all the other bands that I don't really have time to do that kind of stuff. And I feel like I'm more of a band drummer. Like I really need to be in a band. Like I need to be in a unit. Like just like kind of showing up and playing something on a page or something more like pop. But like I've never really gravitated towards that. Although I am open to it because I just like to play whatever. Since I started playing, I love playing jazz. I love playing in classical orchestral band and punk bands and just the whole spectrum. So I'd definitely be open to it. Just nothing like that has sort of come my way. I'm just so busy with everything else I have.
Were you a band nerd in school?
Fuck yeah, I was a band nerd.
Drumline, obviously.
When I was in high school, I was in guitar class, jazz band, pep bands, elite jazz band, concert bands, and I went to band camp 2 years in a row.
Fuck, band camp.
Were you lead snare? Is that what
What's that?
Were you lead snare or were you like third bass drum guy?
Who cares about that? I want to know about band camp, man. What happens at band camp?
It's not all American Pie type stuff, Alex.
Man, I wasn't outgoing enough to have any crazy experiences, but it was really fun, and it was just a lot of just reading music and rehearsals and hanging out in the dorm room eating a bunch of Sour Patch Kids, that kind of shit. But yeah, I would just like anything music related. That's all I really cared about. I wanted to play in bands with my friends and then play music at school and then listen to music when I wasn't doing that. And it was just music all the time.
That's cool.
Well, how many of your peers, I guess more so in the metalcore, hardcore world, how many of those drummers can actually read music?
I don't know.
Are you like a unicorn in that regard, or?
I mean, if I tried to read music now, it would probably not go very well. Okay. Like when I first started, I was I was all about it, and I think I was getting pretty good at it. Like I could sight read like these orchestral pieces, and play along with the rest of the musicians. But if I tried to do it now, I don't think it would go very well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I get that. I can't read shit. I mean, I dabble in drums, more of a guitarist, but I could never. Tablature I can read. That's about it.
Yeah.
But I always was so jealous of people. You could put a whole, arrangement in front of them, and they'll just whip it out, and whatever instrument they play.
Yeah, it's also much easier to read drum music too, because you're not dealing with the notes. It's just like, cymbals are up here, and then the next line's rack tom, then snare, then kick drum, then floor tom. It's not really as complex as full,
I would think it's the opposite. I thought it would be harder because I was also a band nerd in middle and high school too. So like, I got to the point where I was a trumpet player. It was a dumb move, but whatever. I could get to read that stuff, but then even now when I'm watching, like, cause I'll watch a bunch of drum cover stuff, a bunch of drums, videos on YouTube and all that kind of content. But I'll watch some guys drum along to like sheet music, and it's mind-boggling because it's not what I was used to reading like 25 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I just fully lost interest, and all I wanted to do was just play songs in bands. That was what I really wanted to do, and go on tour. So all like the more study of music theory stuff kind of fell by the wayside.
I was hoping you'd say that. I was hoping you'd say that like Kurt brings in, just sheet music and puts it down, and with his glass of wine, and you guys just play it. But damn.
Yeah, no, far from it.
All right. So where are you now? I mean, I know you're at home, but like where? Where do you live right now?
I moved back to Los Angeles last August, and
okay.
Yeah, so I'm still here in Los Angeles, weathering the storm.
Do you regret that at all?
No, absolutely not. I mean, when I first moved back, everything started going great. Going to shows and seeing friends, and some cool new opportunities, and then the goddamn COVID hit.
Yeah, and you guys, I know you guys out there are definitely like way more locked down than like probably even Alex's current. He lives in the Philadelphia area, and I live in Florida, and I would say for the most part, Florida's been almost wide open. Most of the time, they just started kind of getting shows back here not that long ago. I actually went to a show that had like 500 people at it. And
what?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. This past weekend, it was like a DJ type show. I mean, I had my mask on the entire time, and I was off to the side, and it was outdoors, so that was kind of good. But yeah, it was crazy. It was like 400 plus people or something like that, and it felt cool, but also at the same time, it felt like, oh, this is not right.
So you're one of those problem people out and going to concerts.
Well, if you ever
make fun of on Twitter.
Was Trapped performing?
No, unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. But he's also a fan of the podcast, so But
oh yeah, we had him on.
Yeah, we did have him on. God, we should have him back on. It'd be a crazier time now that Trump's lost and all this other stuff.
I think I've really pissed him off on Twitter with countering a lot of his political stuff. So I don't know that he'll.
As long as he hasn't banned you, or not banned you, but blocked you, that's true. I think you're still in good graces. But yeah, Florida's all. I mean, like that's the difference about I guess like the entire country is so different. Like Alex's situation is different than mine. We're like basically almost wide open. Shows are still limited capacity. Like the show I was at was a limited capacity show. However, the capacity was large enough for them to have X amount of people involved. And but I would assume out in California, it seems like everyone's way more worried about the pandemic, even 8-9 months in. So it just, I was wondering if you kind of regretted moving out there because you don't have I don't want to say freedoms as everyone else, but
the tyrannical government.
Yeah. Like I definitely don't regret coming back out here. There's no way of us knowing what would happen, and I haven't totally given up on LA yet. I'm still just weathering the storm, and obviously we have our problems here, but I think they're way overblown, you know, on the internet. You know, I still enjoy going out and, you know, hiking and, you know, going to the playground or whatever, and you know, I go food shopping, and you know, I've been to Vegas a couple times. You know, I went to Phoenix to record some stuff with KBK to do some video shoots, and you know, I just think as long as people are doing things safely, I mean, I just don't really see the problem with wearing masks. I just don't get why people can't just fucking wear the mask. I mean, you know, I was reading about, you know, there's some article about how there were 700 cases of COVID from people who visited Las Vegas since like April. And I was like, wait, like, is that supposed to be scary? Like, there have been 4 million people
in and out of there, you know,
and 700 got COVID. Like, isn't that really good? Like those are good fucking odds. And it's because the mask enforcement is really strict. And so you go into a casino, everyone's got a mask. And if someone takes their mask off, there's someone that comes out of the woodwork, and they say, put your mask on, and everyone sort of obeys. And I just wonder, like, if everyone just got on board, you know, unified, and just said, okay, this is just how it is now. Like, I just have to wear a mask wherever I go. I wonder what that would be like. But unfortunately, that can't happen in this country now. And it's really
half the population is just, you know, whatever. I can't just spending an hour on Twitter, you know, reading, and it's so clear that, you know, half the country is just totally against masks. There's arguments today about the efficacy of masks. People who just flat out deny any efficacy whatsoever. It's, you know, it's just part of government control. It's just, you know, the slippery slope. This is the first step till they can totally control your lives. And it's just, we can't function as a country because it's always half of the country disagrees with the other half, is, you know, obvious by the whole election thing. And we're still at that point now. Forget about masks. We're at that point with the president of the United States. You know, it's either it's President-elect Biden, or the election's rigged and Trump should be the president and he should stay the president, and he probably will be once all these court challenges happen. It's always this 50-50 bullshit. And what it does at the end of the day is just completely slows progress, or, you know, progress grinds to a halt. And it's just infuriating that we can't have consensus on anything. Not even as simple as, does a mask help or not?
Yeah, you know, being in Los Angeles, and in a kind of, you know, progressive liberal type neighborhood, I don't really see much of the anti-masker stuff. And when we traveled to Arizona, you know, we took, you know, first night there, we took an Uber out to, you know, pick up some food, and you know, the guy just looks back at us and goes, "You don't got to wear them fucking masks."
Yeah, I've been in that same Uber many times here.
We're like, no, it's okay. Like, we'll keep them on. But I encountered that, and I like wasn't ready for it. I'm like, oh, this is how half of the country feels. They feel like it's infringing on their freedom. They feel like it's a big government conspiracy. Anything they read that's science or fact based, or, you know, empirical data based, they just call it a conspiracy. It's a hoax, and they can call anything they want a hoax. That's the scariest thing. Is like, oh, like 1 + 1 = 2. Like, no, it's a conspiracy. It's a mathematical conspiracy. And then there's a whole group to back them up somewhere in some dark corner of the internet, and then they take it as fact, and they just go with that their whole life. Like you know, like you said, flat earthers. Like, it's mind blowing, man.
I fear for this country terribly.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with just even real. I will say quote unquote real news. Even then, you know, but it's fake. They also will do stuff for the clicks and for the, you know, they'll clickbait headlines and all sorts of stuff, and they'll do articles that aren't necessarily real or true either. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's so weird that it doesn't help that the polarization of, you know, the left side versus the right side, or one side versus the other side, with the president that we've had for the last 4 years, you know, all of that stuff is just so polarized now. And I think a lot of people also just, they don't know. Like, I wear I wear masks at work because I work for like an international kind of place, and so they're just really big on the mask. So like, I wear it at work, and I guess I didn't really mind wearing it to the show this past weekend, although I would prefer to like not wear a mask, you know. But I'm also in Florida, and I've seen so many people not wear masks. It's almost like, man, maybe it's not an issue. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just wear one to not be like a dickhead, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter what you think about it. It's just that, it's like the unifying thing. I mean, people cannot get behind a common cause. They just can't. We're so fucking divided. It's just so upsetting. I mean, I feel bad for people that maybe don't have the means to really figure things out for themselves, because it's so confusing reading all these different articles on the internet. There's so much information coming at you, and then the algorithm gets you, and depending on what you believe, it'll just keep shoveling that shit down your throat.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad for for like elderly people, for example. I forget he was telling me this, or maybe it was just something I heard somewhere, that someone's mom thought that Facebook was the internet. So they didn't realize that there was a whole internet and there were different web pages and whatever. They just thought like, oh, I load up the internet and it's Facebook. And every post of someone's like opinion, they're just like, oh, well, so and so said that the moon landing was faked, and they just think they can't understand how to like actually put everything together. And even it's hard for fucking smart people. There's so much shit. Like, how do you process all this? It's not it's not natural. Of course we're divided. There's so much there's no like unifying message about anything ever.
Nope. At least back in the day, you had NBC, ABC, CBS, and you felt that there was some like, this is what's going on and this is how it is. Walter Cronkite's, that was before my time, but whatever. Peter Jennings or Tom Brokaw. You trusted those guys, and now it's just like, you don't know where to go.
But could you trust them back in the day too, or were they the only ones on TV at the time? See, so like this goes back further and further.
But it was never really like that. Obviously we didn't have the internet, but I just feel obviously you can't trust everyone, and the media has an agenda to some degree, but I feel it's just the pendulum has gone completely awry into the other direction, where don't trust anything, mistrust everything, and don't believe anything. And we get nowhere. Nobody believes anything. It's fake. They can just call out fake news if they don't like something. Right. It's not that, oh, that's bad news, that's sad. It's fake. I don't like it, so it must be fake. It's just one big echo chamber. Has been, as you were saying, if you want to hear something, regardless of what that opinion is, you want to find reinforcement for your own fucked up opinion, you're going to find it. You're going to find it on 50 websites or 100 websites, and they're going to share it, and you're going to retweet it, et cetera, et cetera. And we just have this amoeba of disparate thoughts. Some are so ridiculous, but people think they're logical because there's 10,000 other people on the internet that seem to share that same opinion, and it never ends.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean,
it gets me all. Let's go back to the one thing that can bring us all together, and that's music.
Kill or be killed.
So you got that. You got that album coming out
Friday.
Nuclear Blast.
Say it. Sell it. Well, all right, so we know that's happening. I guess I heard that Converge has written an album, but not recorded an album. Is that accurate?
Not necessarily, but I don't think I'm at liberty to say. But
okay,
there is a lot of material brewing, and it is going to be worked on soon. So I can't say that.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna hit you up for a date, but what day are you guys going to the studio? But do you guys have to, are you waiting for, the pandemic to sort of die down, or you guys just have a schedule and you're sticking to it regardless of what happens?
No, I mean, I do have plans to fly out to the studio and, get tested and all that, and get in the studio and track some stuff. So I should be doing that in the next few months, and we're going to get the ball rolling, and hopefully with Mutoid Man as well, and a couple other cool projects too coming down the pipe.
I assume when you say fly in the studio, it'll be Kurt. You're not dumping that guy, right, and going with Steve Evans or Steve Austin. Oh.
Not Steve Austin. Still Kurt. Still God City.
Okay.
Is there
That's
a reason
good.
why?
That's good.
I know Killer Be Killed did use Kurt for the first album, but is there any particular reason why you got collectively? I guess you guys decided not to go with Kurt and go with who you went with.
Yeah,
it's too expensive.
Well, KBK did their first record with Josh Wilbur, and they were really happy with the album, and they got on really well with him, and so we all just decided that he would do the second album as well, and I'm really glad we did, because he's got a great ear. He's a great engineer, great producer. He's like the full package and makes the record sound amazing. We have similar musical references, which actually goes a long way. Like, we're tracking one song, and I was like, trying to figure out a drum fill, and ended up doing this drum fill from Snapcase Caboose, which is pretty obscure for
an iconic hardcore song.
Yeah, it's just like, he's like, yeah, fucking Snapcase Caboose. I'm like, yes. And
right at the beginning there.
Yeah, first fill. Speaking of,
hear it in my head now.
Speaking of Saint Anger snare, there's the original Saint Anger snare on that record.
See, but the Saint Anger snare kind of sucked, but the Snapcase progression through unlearning snare, that was badass.
Dude, that record still slaps. It's
absolutely.
But yeah, having those like the same like musical references is really important. And I'm really happy with the way we could work together and how it turned out. So yeah, couldn't be happier with Josh. He did a great job.
Cool.
Nice. And let's see, we're in 2020, so hopefully we'll get a new Converge album in 2021. Can you promise that?
I cannot promise anything, because who knows, we might be locked down in 2 months again. It's really hard. I've already had to reschedule because of various life things. So who knows? And that's the problem right now. It's like there's no goalpost, man. Like it's not like, in November 2021 you can go on tour again. Everything's going to be great. So that's really. Is
that a stipulation for you guys? Do you have to be able to tour to support? I know, like, Every Time I Die has had their record, in the can, but just shelved indefinitely until they can tour. Is that that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think at this point we're just ready to sort of get on with it. We've been waiting around for like 8 months or so, and at least I'm now in the mindset where, like, I just want to, go out and safely do things and be productive, just for my mental health. Honestly, I mean, going out to Phoenix with the KBK guys and shooting videos, it was like the first thing I had done in a really long time, and you need that motivation, you need the human connection, and you need to feel productive, and without that, you're just going to send yourself down a bad spiral, down a bad path. And I'm just ready to do what I can. And the recording process and production process takes so long that if we start on something now, chances are it'll be another year before it actually comes out. So you may, even if if you decide to sit on it, you may as well just get in there and get it done, safely.
That's true. Will there be a new Converge album before you have your fourth child?
Yes, because I do not plan on having a fourth child.
I was gonna say, stop now, man.
We could, but the lockdowns, a lockdown could be approaching, so you never know. And
be
winter,
safe, Ben.
winter,
be
and
safe
lockdown?
During this lockdown.
Yes, you too.
Get surgery. That's well, I guess, is that considered surgery? I don't know if it is or not, but that's the safest approach.
I would consider vasectomy surgery.
Well, I had it done, but yeah, I guess that was pretty rough. That's the only surgery I've ever had, then, technically. Speaking of surgery, so your arm is like, your elbow is completely like, you don't even know you broke it, or is it still
clicks every now and then?
No, yeah, it definitely clicks, and it still gets sore. Not nearly as much as before, but it's definitely there, and I just think it's going to sort of be this annoying spot for the rest of my life, which is fine because I don't really notice it anymore. For a while, when I was trying to play drums, I would have to stop because it would just be like shooting pain. But it's so like sort of mild, and I guess I'm just used to it. So it is fully healed, and it's pretty much like a normal arm again. Just annoying pain here and there. Like I I can't really do like push-ups and certain exercises, but for the most part, I'm good to go.
You know, it's very irresponsible of you as a drummer to break your elbow.
I know.
I hope you got a stern lecture from your 85 various bandmates that was probably not a wise move.
I know.
This freak accident. Have you ever revealed the freak accident?
Oh yeah, for sure. I was
Okay.
I was hiking in back in upstate New York, and it was in the winter, and so I slipped on a patch of black ice. Didn't even see it. It was underneath some leaves, and
Okay.
my feet just came right out from under me, and all my weight went right on that elbow. Sucked.
That definitely is freakish.
All right. I probably should have done some research. I was just reading this Lambgoat comment, and what freak accident caused the broken elbow. Maybe he was domestically abusing his wife, or a random attack on a stranger on the subway, or maybe his drug dealer shorted him. But let's all blindly donate to the cause.
There we go.
Typical. But the comment after it, I like. This is the saddest day.
Yeah.
No, non-Converge fans aren't going to fucking look at that. But then someone did say, I agree we could be throwing money at someone who's deep down a really bad dude, but he also could have injured his elbow while helping an elderly woman cross the street, throwing out the trash while volunteering at a soup kitchen, or rescuing a helpless kitten from a sewer drain. I guess we'll never know.
You see,
but now we know you slipped on, a patch of black ice.
Well, that you like we said before, there can always be some grand conspiracy. Like I could have, just drawn on the scar, and I could have doctored those X-rays that I posted. Maybe it never happened.
The internet. We can go to Fiverr we can go to Fiverr and just hire anyone to do anything. So yeah, maybe.
Release your tax returns, Ben Koller.
I was so desperate to sit on my ass for 4 months at home while I recovered that I faked a broken elbow. Yeah, that's what happened.
All right, we'll go with that. I'll have a news article up on that tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyway,
take that right out of context. There you go.
I'm good at that. No, I'm just kidding. There's no fake news on Lambgoat. Damn it. Anyway, it's a little after 8. I know you've got, lots of children and things to do. So I don't want to I don't want to waste your time or be disrespectful of your time. I think we've plugged, well, there's really only one thing to plug right now, and that's Kill or Be Killed. New album, Friday. Buy it. Buy it. Digital. I'm assuming you got vinyl, and is it on cassette?
No cassette. I
do that.
Yeah, okay. We got a bunch of merch. We got rare vinyl. We got shirts. We got all the stuff. KillerBeKilled.com.
Get the bundles. Just get the bundle.
Yes.
Get the bundle.
I got a bundle. The Between the Beard and Me, I got a couple of those bundles. They remastered them all.
That doesn't help Ben, dude.
No, I know, but I support the music scene.
Yes, support. Well, yeah, go directly to the artist page or whatever, and buy the hard goods. Don't just stream.
Of course.
Don't just stream on Spotify.
So Max doesn't take all the money. You guys actually see a little money from that.
Well, he takes all the money, and then he gives us an allowance. And when we do chores, he gives us like $10 for taking out the garbage, and
that seems about right.
That's good.
He treats us very well. Yeah,
it instills value, and it instills value in what you're doing. Reward system.
Exactly.
Well, he's got all that Chaos AD money still coming in, probably. So that's something.
He's got that 90s money. I missed out on the 90s money.
Yeah.
I came in a little too late.
Right.
Every musician I talk to, that again is of a certain age, it's just like, or under a certain age, it's like, if Converge had been 10 years earlier, even, selling 50 to 100,000 albums, you would have been doing all right. And everybody just got screwed, man.
Dude, I'd have that Jane Doe custom Cadillac. I'd be set, man.
How many of those do you think are in existence? I'm sure there's a Jane Doe Cadillac out there.
Gotta be.
Do you want to buy an original Jane Doe print signed by this guy, Jacob?
Yes. Hit me up in the DMs.
So that's the one thing I'm not selling.
Before we let you go, I have to know,
I got the Neurosis. I got this one over here.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
That's a nice looking piece.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of nice, he sells a bunch of prints now still, and a lot of them are really fucking cool. What's your favorite Converge record? And you can throw nostalgia out and just whatever you prefer.
I think, well, my favorite drumming record is No Heroes, and I think my favorite overall is probably Axe to Fall.
Cool.
That makes sense. You could have really messed with people if you had said like When Forever Comes Crashing or something.
Well, as a fan, you might be leaning towards that because that's what I got into before I joined the band, and
Well, that's true.
I was obsessed with it. So I mean, you could argue that maybe that's my favorite as a fan.
You heard it here, folks. Go buy When Forever Comes Crashing so Ben gets absolutely nothing.
And the demo that sounds like Biohazard. That's probably my favorite.
The demo that sounds like Biohazard.
Yeah, see,
I haven't heard that.
I think it's on YouTube.
Which Biohazard album?
I don't know. I fucking hate Biohazard.
Oh, well, see, when I was in high school, Urban Discipline, that was my jam. But yeah, I listen to it now and it's like
cringy.
I like the Judgment Night song. That was sick.
That album was pretty cool. I still listen to, Helmet and what's his
Ice-T.
House of Pain.
Oh, Helmet, House of Pain. Yeah, Ice-T and Slayer. That's right.
Yes, Ice-T and Slayer and Booyah Tribe and Faith No More. Whoever the hell Booyah Tribe are, I don't know.
We're trying to get Ice on the podcast. I've been tweeting him and emailing his publicist for months now.
He's a big deal, man.
I know. What's your favorite Converge album, Alex? Is it Jane Doe, like everybody else?
It's got to be Jane Doe, just because sort of a time and place thing.
I get it. If you had to throw nostalgia away, though, is it still the same? It's still the same record?
It's still Jane Doe, but yeah, I got to go with Jane Doe. But I realize that's a really cliched answer. I just, I think, but for the biggest reason, it was just, I don't know. It's just, I think I spent more time with that album than any Converge album. And I think that was part of it. At that time of my life, I just spent so much time driving around and listening to that album. And I didn't necessarily give that kind of focus to any really album I can remember that came after that. And it's just a circumstance thing. Having a busy life and not being able to listen to this, or there's too many things to listen to. But for whatever reason, I had so much time to spend with that album. But strangely, Phoenix in Flight is like my favorite song on the album, which is sort of the non-Converge-esque track on there. I don't know why.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Mine's You Fail Me, so I just want to throw that out there.
Okay, well, yeah. You fail me, that probably would be my second choice, if I have to be honest.
I got into it more than Jane Doe. I just got into it a little bit more. It's like a groove. To me, it's a groovier record, and it could be the way that it sounds and the way that it was mixed and mastered.
The production is certainly better than Jane Doe, but that's part of the appeal of Jane Doe, I guess.
I know. Recording in a tin can.
Yeah. Oh well. In any case, I guess that's about it. You have anything else you want to plug beyond Kill or Be Killed? I don't know what else.
Yeah,
Koller has going on.
All my 50,000 bands: Converge, Mutoid Man, All Pigs Must Die, Kill or Be Killed, 2 Minutes to Late Night. We got a bunch of new videos coming out. So check out.
I meant to say that earlier. That's such a cool little project, and it's so cool that you guys have an array of people that join you on that. I meant to say that earlier when you brought it up, so I just wanted to get it in there before.
Yeah, we got. I'm doing a few more pretty soon, so that's gonna be awesome. Oh, and I do have a new drumming show called The Beat Off, but we haven't been doing too much lately. We've been so busy with just other bands and family and stuff, but we should have some new stuff from The Beat Off soon too. It's with my friend Jared Shavelson, another great drummer. Plays for Seal, The Bronx, Boy Sets Fire. Great drummer, and we have a little drum streaming type show we do. So
it's crazy to hear about Seal. Yeah,
Seal, the pop artist Seal.
Fucking Seal, yeah.
Kiss from a Rose, bro.
We're never gonna survive. Fuck yeah, Seal.
Unless we fuck yeah, little well, that's pretty cool.
Well, you had a little time to listen to Seal back in the day. It looks like too, Alex.
Yeah. Well, not intentionally, but hey, I respect Seal, and I'm sure Seal loves Converge. So it's probably like a mutual thing.
I'm kind of wondering now if Seal has ever heard The Bronx, because I would assume that he's like, hey, you want to hear my other band?
Nah, I don't think you bug Seal with that kind of stuff.
I don't know. I'll ask him.
All right. Well, that's pretty cool. Is that like a YouTube thing, that show?
Yeah, YouTube, and we do a little on Instagram and Twitter, but we've been working on the back end of things so much since we started it that takes up so much of our time. And we had planned to have other drummers in the studio with us, and to have camera people and everyone like a crew. And when COVID hit, it's like, oh, we're kind of just on our own now, and there's only so much we can do, just the two of us. So it definitely slowed things down quite a bit, but hopefully in the near future we'll be ramping that up again.
Well, I went to your YouTube channel today, and you don't post a lot. You got to post more, man. You're leaving some money on the table there.
Yeah, it's because we've been doing a lot of like live stuff. Like we'll just do like Instagram Live or YouTube Live, and actually I did one and it got taken down for copyright infringements because I was playing along with like random songs on my iPad. It's like, oh, I'm gonna play a Blondie song, and then it gets flagged and taken down.
That is the problem.
We're still learning. This is all. It's all new territory for us.
Got to get your own domain and own hosting, and then maybe a paywall.
That's right. Well, we need
sounds like a lot of work, dude.
We need a suit. That's the problem. We need our business guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't Converge have like a super attorney or something?
We do have an attorney, yeah, and accountants and all that bullshit.
But you got to pay them, so yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
And you got to make money to pay somebody, so that's the problem.
Yeah, and you got to make a lot of money to pay a good lawyer.
Yeah.
That's a problem for everyone, except Max Cavalera.
That's correct.
I want to say you guys have never brought up Soulfly. You always kept referring to him as Sepultura, but he did spend a good chunk of time in Soulfly.
First Soulfly album, I mean, that was pretty cool. I think I saw them too, and I saw Sepultura back, the original Sepultura. But yeah, I mean, you put Soulfly and Sepultura next to each other, and you kind of got two different crowds there. But I think or at least there's some overlap for sure. But for the older metalheads, Sepultura will always take the cake.
Yeah, and so Cavalera Conspiracy and Nail Bomb, and yeah, he's got a lot going on.
I got a Nail Bomb cassette right over here. So yeah, he's done lots of great things. But you're right, Dave. Thanks for bringing up Soulfly.
I had to throw a new metal band in there, man. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Eye for an Eye. That's my jam.
Yep.
Nice.
All right, Ben.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you want to wrap it up a little bit, cut them loose?
Yeah. We've already impinged on his. Oh, you're in California, so it's like dinner time and shit.
I know. I got to get some chow. Well, it was very nice chatting with you guys. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
For sure.
Really appreciate it, man. I'll bug you or I'll post some I Love Trump stuff on Twitter so I can reply and get you to hate me the way that Chris from Trapped hates me.
I'll get my QAnon theories together and I'll do some posting.
The next one we have to do, as whenever Converge gets ready to record or to release their next album, we'll have to get you on some kind of weird Stefan kind of podcast, talk about chemtrails, talk about Flat Earth, all that.
Just go off of some real controversial shit. You know how to sell some records.
Yeah, let's go deep. There's a conspiracy theory that Jake actually died in '98 and we replaced him with someone else.
Well, it's hologram technology.
Our generation's Paul McCartney.
He's the metalcore Paul McCartney. Yeah.
We could go with that. All right, we'll think up some more in that vein, and that sounds perfect. So when the new Converge comes, 2022, 2023, hopefully 2021. Hint, hint.
Be patient. It's coming. Maybe we'll put out a greatest hits before then.
Or a single or two, awesome. A new single or two. You know what I mean? You got a while until probably everything settles down.
A flexi or a single.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we'll be waiting for that, man. But thank you so much, and I'm sure I'll see you around online.
Hell yeah!
Go back and read some comments. To feel like shittier about yourself.
I will. Yeah, I'll see you guys on the internets.
All right, later.
Sounds good. Thanks, Ben.
Okay, later, y'all.
Late.